Update 1 on Typhoon Nari, which is currently located just to the northeast of the Philippines with wind speeds of 85 miles per hour and a pressure of 967 millibars, a Category 1 typhoon. Current positions 15.9 degrees north, 126.0 degrees east. As of 3 p.m. UTC on October the 10th, the storm is expected to move towards the west-northwest, making landfall in Luzon, possibly as a Category 2 typhoon, then moving over the Philippines, emerging over the other side in the South China Sea, still as a typhoon quite likely, and then will pass through the South China Sea, possibly making landfall in Vietnam in about 4 or 5 days' time, maybe even on Hainan Island in China, which is what one of the models is suggesting at the moment. Signal 1 warnings currently in effect for Catanduanes, Camarines Sur, Isabela, Aurora, Quezon, Polidia Islands, and Camarines North in the Philippines right now. That's Signal 1 warnings at the moment in effect. That's for tropical depression-like wind speeds, though those are likely to rise or be upgraded to more severe warnings as the storm grows closer. And this is the current graphic which shows the current potential for tropical cyclone conditions, tropical storm conditions highlighted in orange in the next 24 hours, typhoon conditions highlighted in red in the next 24 hours, and the other two, the yellow one is tropical storm conditions in the next 48 hours, and the light pink is the typhoon conditions in the next 24 hours. You can see how the whole of Luzon is pretty much highlighted there. Sea surface temperatures around the islands at the moment around 29, maybe 30 degrees in one or two areas, especially near where the storm is right now, so certainly good conditions in terms of sea surface temperatures for further development of the storm, all the way up until landfall. This is what the models are suggesting. The CMC, first of all, a landfall in Luzon, and then curving towards the north, just short of a landfall in Vietnam, so that means a landfall in Hainan Island in China, and then the storm may dissipate over the mainland. As for that other storm, Tropical Depression 25W, which has just formed near the Mariana Islands, that mainly veers out to sea. Same to says the GFS. Could be some adverse conditions in Japan as a result of that storm. As far as Nari is concerned, the GFS takes it through Luzon again, and then into Vietnam, possibly as a typhoon in 5 days' time. Let's take a look at the latest satellite imagery then. You can see the past few hours, storm moving towards the west-northwest, perhaps a little bit more of a westward element in the last few frames of that one. It's pretty difficult to tell as you can't really see an eye yet in terms of the storm, so no eye forming just yet, but that may be the case. The eye may form before making landfall in the Philippines. We'll see what happens with that. But you can see the most intense storm, most intense rainfall and such storm conditions is centered towards the south of the storm, the center of the storm, so that means that areas to the south of the landfall position, when it comes to landfall in the Philippines, at least as it stands, will have the worst of the effects from the storm. Towards the north, a little bit lighter, but still obviously strong storm conditions and maybe typhoon force winds towards the north of the storm as well, but the worst of it is towards the south. Right now then, October the 10th at 2 p.m. UTC, you can see all the storms out there in the world right now. Tropical Depression Nada still going in the eastern Pacific. 94E, the invest just south of Mexico, could develop into a tropical storm, as could 98L in the Atlantic. In the eastern hemisphere, we've got Cyclone Phelan, which is a Category 1 equivalent now. Of course, Typhoon Nari right now, just east of the Philippines, and Tropical Depression 25W, sorry, which has just formed in the past few hours to the west of Guam. So that could be another storm that will form over the next few days. So the models are certainly looking at possibly a typhoon out of that one as well. So 21 tropical storms so far in the Western Pacific. That's the 60th busiest on record, 2013, just above 2011 there. 10 typhoons so far, 4 of which have made it to Category 3 intensity. Nari would have to do quite a bit of intensification before landfall in the Philippines to make it the 5th Category 3 typhoon, so I don't really see that happening personally, but you never know what may happen in the Western Pacific. You can also check the latest tracking map on the website. We've had a little bit of a change over the past few days, but it's still as informative as ever, I hope. On the main website, force13.com/storm tracking. That's the main page for all the storm tracking information around the world. There you can see the current world map showing where all the storms are, including tables at the top and bottom showing all their intensities and indeed any warnings that are currently in effect. I try to keep it as up to date as possible. It also includes invest and post-tropical storms as well. You can also find us elsewhere on the web, Facebook and Twitter. To search Force 13 on either of those mediums. You should find us fairly easily enough, and as always, please do show your support by doing the usual means of engagement, liking, subscribing, commenting, favoriting, or following, or anything else that you may think of. And if you have any questions or comments about the storm, or indeed any other storms out there, or anything else storm related, then feel free to send in a comment underneath this video or by private message if you so wish, and if it's worth getting back to, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. The next update on this storm will probably follow tomorrow, Friday the 11th of October. That will be around 2:30 PM UTC, I believe. But until then, that's all for now.